Radiant team ban. IG's turn to ban.
Okay, hello everybody and welcome back to BTS's coverage of the Redbull ECL. This is our second day of 5 as far as this competition is concerned, and this is our second match, our second 2-game set for the group stage portion of the competition for today. It's IG continuing their 6-game run. For today, they have all of their matches to play. They've completed 2, and this next series is going to be up against Tongfu, though Tongfu have again forgotten to include their team tag. But we still know who they are. So anyway, moving forward, I'm basically here providing coverage on behalf of Beyond the Summer. It's a pleasure to be joining all of you guys today, and joining me is Winter. So Winter, how you doing?
I'm good. Just finished my dinner, and it's a first pick Enchantress.
The Enchantress is making waves, Winter. This is becoming pretty serious, and I'm so excited to see it. I mean, I've had a couple of rants about how great I think 6.79 is as a version, and it continues to deliver. All of these heroes are popping up. What is first pick, first ban changes week to week, tournament to tournament, team to team, region to region. It's a really interesting time to be watching and casting Dota.
What do you know? Enchantress Dragon Knight.
Enchantress Dragon Knight. Okay, so I think I asked you yesterday, Winter, do you think we're moving towards figuring out the optimal strategies for the current version? And do you think this is a step towards it, or do you think teams are still working things out?
10 seconds remaining.
I feel it's not really by any means that this is the best way to open your draft. It's just that it's a LAN event and everyone is not ready. You don't have time to practice and to understand more about what is the better thing. How is it better for your team to open up the draft? You're just going to be most of the time following, oh, that team is actually doing this really well, we should follow, because you don't have time to experiment to know what is better than that.
Yeah, you sort of end up with your own self-contained meta for the smaller events. And I guess it's fair enough, right? DK, they won a whole bunch of games, not really mixing things up too much. And then IG did exactly what DK were doing, and they won a game. And now we're going to have to see if Tongfu can do the same thing and also beat IG. And I guess most notably, if Tongfu beat IG, then that's secure. If anybody beats IG in the next 4 games, then that secures the #1 spot in the group for DK. So we're going to see if IG can do what DK did yesterday and sweep the remaining games 4-0.
And there's a possibility of the exact same lineup as well. Enchantress, DK, Wiz, Tiny. I don't know, man. It looks like they are setting up for that.
Yeah, this is looking very familiar. A lot of heroes that we saw in the last series are back. The Venomancer's back, the Bristleback's here again, the Doom as well, though this time the Bristleback and the Doom are going to be teaming up as opposed to being opponents. And well, both teams have actually moved pretty quickly to this point in the draft. Lots of bonus time remaining, so we'll see where we go from here. Invictus Gaming actually choosing to get rid of a Nyx Assassin and a Lifestealer, so I guess we'll see what they have in mind. It did lead them into the Doom pick a little bit. You don't want to be playing a lot of melee heroes against the Nyx.
So it's not going to be a Wiz. It's going to be a Visage Enchantress dual support. This is very strange for a Chinese team to do that. Usually it's not too common from the Chinese teams. And the Doom, like you mentioned, it's always good to have the Bristleback and the Doom side by side, so you don't have to worry about the Doom cancelling your passive as Bristleback. And not to mention, there's always a chance where you devour the ice armor creep, the ogre mage, and you become a very strong Bristleback in the mid game.
Yeah, and Doom is amazingly valuable against Dragon Knight. I think people Enchantress as well, but I think people overlook how spammable Dragon Knight's abilities are. Dragon Tail is a 9-second cooldown, and Breathe Fire is a 12-second cooldown. If he has free reign to cast spells, then he's going to get 3 or 4 Dragon Tails off in a drawn-out fight, and almost as many Breathe Fires as well. And removing that chunk of damage, that chunk of lockdown, is a really big deal. And the Dragon Knight doesn't really become a scary right-clicker until he gets a couple of items. I think it was even recently that Dragon Knight, he used to have a tiny bit of plus damage on his ultimate, and that was actually removed when they added poison attack to the level 2 dragon form. So he got tweaked a little bit as far as right-click was concerned there as well.
Yeah, that was not too major for him.
Yeah, it was like 8 damage or something.
Yeah, he doesn't really need it. I would rather have the poison on my level 2 ultimate.
You would prefer, you would prefer to actually have a level 2 ultimate, because that's basically what the change was. Before, nobody actually skilled rank 2 ult unless they had a stack to clear or something like that that was gonna catapult them up to level 16.
Wow, Juggernaut.
Nice.
Okay, this is all-in push. Maybe finish up with a Pugna.
So then Juggernaut is the offlane.
Yeah, Juggernaut's the offlane if that's the case. But Juggernaut, all in all, is very good against the Doom. The healing ward will keep your teammate alive, and you have nature attendance, so a lot of healing power coming out from Tongfu at the moment. And IG doesn't really, if you look at the lineup closely, Venomancer, damage over time, Bristleback, damage over time, Doom, damage over time. Maiden is the one that has the most burst if you count the ultimate. So they don't really have something that immediately kills everyone. So IG is going to ban out the Pugna there, fearing that the 5-man was going to be very powerful from Tongfu.
Yeah, and going for a fast pushing strategy for Tongfu as well does kind of restrict some of the options, I would say, for IG. There's no chance, I think, that we're going to be seeing a greedy jungle Doom or anything like that. No jungle Doom plus offlane Venomancer. Probably just going to be maybe a little bit of Crystal Maiden jungling, Venomancer as your other support, and then I guess IG looking for one more core here.
Yeah, definitely one more core. I think it's YYF Bristleback. Doom will be on Ferrari, so the core is House Hero.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. Still plenty of, well, still all of your premium ranged carries in the pool, pretty much. The Luna's still there, Gyrocopter's still there. We haven't actually seen that much Gyrocopter. Well, we have seen a little bit of him recently, but I guess not so much in this competition. He did see a ban in the last series, but
they need burst damage, I feel, to deal with the power of the heals that Enchanters and Juggernaut have to take down heroes. Otherwise, it could be troublesome for them to finish anyone off with the healing ward and nature attendant.
Yeah, so we'll see what they're gonna do. And I don't know if you can even, if they go for magical burst, that's gonna help them a lot against the Visage and the Enchantress. They're both pretty squishy. Visage, of course, now has 10% base magic resist, so he's a little bit squishier than you expect. But it's not gonna help you a whole lot against the Jug and the DK. Well, if there's too much magical burst, DK is just gonna rush straight towards BKB. So IG, it's a little bit greedy, but they are gonna end up going for a Weaver. But it's not a hero that deals with fast push very well.
But it's very elusive. Only Dragon Tail is the reliable stun, so Weaver could potentially weave around the battlefield, and it's gonna be a difficult target for Tongfu to take down. It depends on what they're gonna go for as their last core, it seems.
Yeah. The other thing that it gives them is a little bit of split push, which they didn't have before, and that's going to really complement the Venomancer. The Venomancer can sit there with somebody else, hold on to the tower, meanwhile the Weaver has a little bit of extra time to apply some pressure, and in that way, either you get Tongfu to trade with you, or you can force them to back off. It all depends on how Tongfu are feeling, and it forces them into actually making decisions instead of just 5-manning your towers down non-stop, because you can't do anything in return.
Talking about 5-man, Luna could be a good pickup here as
Even
a 5-man lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Luna.
Oh, Death Prophet. Nice.
What we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, we were like, where's the Death Prophet? Where's the Shadow Shaman? Well, here we go.
You were talking about if his ultimate heals you
during the ult.
He deals, during the ultimate, when he deals damage and he heals you at the same time, or you have extra tooltip to turn it off right away to regen yourself, that would be good.
Yeah, so we'll see. There is, so normally with the Death Prophet, you'd like to see, I guess it's similar to the Razor in a way. It's kind of nice to have somebody like an Abaddon or a Shadow Demon, somebody that can really bolster the hero's survivability. This time around they've got a healing ward and some heals and stuff like that, but that's about it. And the Silence as well, you're right, is fantastic against the Weaver.
And the Doom. And the Bristleback.
And everybody. And if you silence the thing with the Venomancer is normally he doesn't really care if he gets stun locked because he's going to find a fraction of a second to get his ultimate off. But if you throw a long duration silence on him, there's a chance that you can actually kill him before he can do anything. But it looks like IG a little bit worried about this fast push. They are going to be bumping the Venomancer up since he's pretty much their only counter pusher. So that's actually going to be handled by Ferrari here.
Probably that's the idea behind it. They want someone to be able to defend the pushes, and if you have Veno as your support, he takes a long time before he'll be able to really come online with his defensive capabilities. This is really interesting from IG. I like the way their thought process goes around about doing the draft. Very interesting indeed. Yeah,
that they could make the adjustment. And I guess it would be, we've talked about this at length with lots of heroes, that if the Prophet for DK, they run it in multiple positions. The Venomancer for a lot of different teams. LGD at one point we're running the Venomancer mid as well. And looks like that might be what we're seeing here from IG. So all of these really versatile heroes are starting to become quite important. Speaking of versatility, looks like the Doom. Actually, where is he headed right now? Looks like maybe it's going to be a jungle Doom. How is just going to be making his way down towards bot to play some wards.
It is a jungle Doom. We will be on the safe lane, and he's gonna place a ward for the Bristleback here. Oh, he's gonna get spotted. That's not good. That might give an indication of the position of the ward. That was not good.
Yeah, they would have seen that he only had one ward in his inventory.
Yeah, maybe they would have guessed. Now, there's a higher chance that Tongfu will guess the exact spot of the ward right
Especially since it's a slightly greedier ward. A lot of the wards that we've seen, they don't provide rune vision, so they're a little bit more difficult to deal with because there's so many spots. But if they maybe somehow spot the other ward being placed, there's no chance that IG go without rune vision for the early stages of the game. So we'll see what they end up doing here. But I guess we should quickly introduce the match, quickly introduce the team. So this is the Redbull ECL. This is game 1 of a 2-game set for the group stage, and this is Tongfu up against IG. Very quickly on IG, Hao's going to be handling the Weaver. We've got YYF on the offlane Bristleback. Ferrari is going to be heading towards mid as the Venomancer. Banana is going to be on the Doom, moving into the jungle, and Faith is going to be on the Crystal Maiden.
And on the Raiden side, we have Tongfu Kabu playing the Juggernaut offlane. Joe will be handling the Death Prophet solo mid. Zia Sanjay will be on the Enchantress. Sansheng will be handling the Visage. And lastly, we have Mu on the Dragonite. Going to the safe lane, they wanted to avoid the horrible matchup, Dragonite versus Venomancer.
Yeah, it's Venomancer versus any melee is just not fun at all. So.
Death Prophet could have a hard time though against the Venomancer if he transitions into a Gale and Poison Sting build.
Yeah, as opposed to going for the lane pressure build.
Oh, Faith might go down here. Oh, that was really low. He almost go down to the Blade Fury. Oh boy, almost died.
Yeah, gets very low, but is going to end up surviving. So, still no first blood drawn just yet. Kabu, same kind of build that Ice went for on the Juggernaut. Not going for the boots first. Picks up a little bit of extra regen, grabs the Stout Shield, and it's just going to be pretty happy to grab a little bit of farm. Actually goes for the value point in Blade Dance as well. It's a lot of additional damage for only 1 point, but obviously a little bit unreliable.
This could come back to haunt him if he doesn't get the space to progress in levels and his team wants to get out and push and he doesn't have the healing ward.
The other thing is as well, if you don't buy at least one stat item, and you don't have a single point in stats at level 7, you can't spin and ult, I believe. So that could come back to haunt him, we'll have to see.
Yeah, it could. He would be looking towards to build the drums, I think, for his team. Then the Dragonite can go for his straight BKBs, and if they want to 5-man, drums on the Juggernaut, and probably Death Prophet will complete the mech. So that would be maybe the plan for Tongfu, to have the 5-man setup in the next few minutes.
Yeah, and IG getting some good farm out of the map in the meantime. Doom benefiting a lot from having that aura, so he's going to be fine in the jungle. YYF, his Ancients did actually get blocked out, so Tongfu a little bit too savvy about the strategies that people have been running with the offlane Bristle, so not going to let him grab that extra farm. And right now everybody just kind of hanging out. Both teams are going to get a lot of farm from the early game just because they both have full junglers in the Enchantress and the Doom. So we might see some early moves, but expect most of the action to be during the mid game.
Yeah, and Ferrari has opted to go for his wards and poison sting, so he's gonna be able to pressure the lane constantly, and maybe by that way, then the Death Prophet will always be forced to take creeps under his tower and maybe miss more last hits.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the Death Prophet has good lane pressure, but the wards just kind of keep things in place forever. They're not really that comparable to, say, a Shockwave or something like that. Kabu gets bitten top, but just going to be able to spin away, so he's going to be fine.
It's gonna be a very passive start, I feel. ZSMJ not gonna rotate, I feel. Like, again, with the partner of a Visage, probably he's not very encouraged to rotate around the map, but the Doom is the one actually rotating.
Yeah, they want this dive.
Quite surprising. Doom is not the jungling that you want to be rotating, and rarely do you see him rotate. But he has the perfect spell for the Juggernaut, the End Snare.
Yeah, I don't even know if they necessarily would have needed the Ensnare. They forced out the Blade Fury a little bit earlier. Again, we come back to this point that there is a little bit of a clue for Kabu that something weird is going on. The Bassie's turned on for How, but he just
Shukuchi right
actually
now. Spotted
also spotted the Doom. Yeah.
Yeah, but he looks like he's dead, to be honest.
How
can he escape? No, yeah, I think if he runs straight right away, yeah, he'll be.
Yeah,
fine.
I think he's fine. There's only 2 creeps. Well, there's actually 2 melee creeps, 2 range creeps alive for IG. But yeah, we'll see. Kabu does have boots, so I think he's actually okay here.
He doesn't have spin though, so he has to run right away. Otherwise, he's dead.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's going to be hesitating at all. Like you said, he saw the Doom. So, anyway, looks like we're paused. Probably another technical issue.
Yeah,
right
PC
now.
problem, they said.
Okay. So, well, nothing too surprising. We've had a couple of these pauses over the, yesterday as well as today. So the SMJ just focusing on jungling for the time being. He has sent a Wild Wing over to mid to harass the poor Venomancer a little bit. I don't think you can actually see it right now, but there is a tornado sitting right here. But it's all particles, so it disappears during the pause.
I see it on
you see the dot?
minimap.
Yeah, the little green dot in the minimap. If you actually drag over that area, you can select it and then double click and work out where it is. It's a bit weird. But it's right underneath the pause sign, so anyway. But right now, nothing too interesting happening. Yeah.
Very, very keen eyes by Mr. Basket.
This is the benefits of having a big monitor. But anyway, so we're gonna have Zhou disconnect. Again, there's not probably a whole lot that's gonna be happening in the early game. This is probably the most exciting thing that we're gonna see. Banana moving around, and this likely won't even result in a kill. Yeah.
That was even unexpected because an enemy has Enchantress. You expect the Enchantress to be the first one making the move. But again, with such fast Enchantress, discourages the Enchantress to move, so it's gonna be a very passive early game. Everyone wants to get levels. You look at IG, they want levels on the Doom, they want levels on everybody before they try and fight. And on Tongfu side as well, they are setting up for a 5-man push. 5-man push, you need a mech, you need arcane boots, at least 1 or 2 pair of arcane boots. So you need time for those items to come online before you get your game plan rolling. So both sides will be looking to be really passive. This move by the Doom is actually quite surprising for me.
Well, we talked about the role of expectations. If there wasn't a ward here, had Tongfu not gone out of their way to place this, then it's pretty likely that this would have resulted in a kill. And like you said, nobody expects the ganking jungle Doom, but Banana didn't expect the ward, so oh well. I guess the one thing to touch on is that we're probably expecting a BKB build from How this game. There's a 4-second cooldown Soul Assumption to pop a Linken's if he goes for it. It's not going to help you at all against an Omni Slash, and you can't afford to get silenced, I think.
I got a feeling he might
still go for
BKB.
You think he's still going to go for the Linken's?
BKB doesn't help against the Death Prophet ultimate and the Juggernaut ultimate, and the Familiars still damage you, so getting a Linken's means you farm quicker, and you are not afraid of the Shadow Blade gank from the Dragonite. So you can farm with like a peace of mind, and you can push the lane further without fearing too much. Maybe he just goes for the Linken's instead of the BKB. That's just my assumption. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think the big point is if he feels confident about the ability of Ferrari to drag out this game just on the Venomancer, then you can probably afford to aim for 2 or 3 items. If things start to go bad, then you need to be combat ready, and you need to. I think you might need to have that BKB. So we'll see what ends up happening. I think the next 5-6 minutes will let us know.
He's probably going to skip the Midas because you look at Tongfu's lineup, very aggressive early on. Getting a Midas might come back to haunt you. So I wouldn't be surprised if he skips the Midas totally.
Okay, so we're back to this gank on top lane. Kabu.
Oh, no.
He hesitates for a second. Doom's gonna come in. He's got this net ready to go. There is no spin. In comes the Shikuchi damage. A little bit of body blocking going on. He's dead. Kabu, we thought you knew that this gank was on its way, but that's gonna be first blood drawn by Hao, and that's a really nice start for him on the Weaver.
Pause too long. He forgot.
Just didn't pay attention. I guess it was his team that paused as well. Bottom lane, YYF. He's got a tango to get through the trees here, but Sanchen gonna cut him off at the pass. The Ursa's coming in as well. They get the Dragon Tail down. No escape for YYF. He's gonna be brought down by ZSMJ.
Yeah, that was like a 1-for-1 all in all in the end, but Kabu was much more worthy there. First blood.
Yeah, get the first blood, and especially on the Weaver as well. The one hero that
could have avoided it, and his team got the first blood. That was actually a very huge deal.
He's gonna spin out, does some good damage to Hao. Shikuchi's actually on cooldown for the time being. He ends up auto-attacking something on the way through there, so he stops for a second. And I'm not sure if he could have gotten the kill anyway,
I don't think so. Yeah.
Still.
So it's gonna be the continuation of a lot of passivity from both teams. Now the Doom is going to go back to the jungle, continue to get his levels, and everyone will be back to their own places.
What are you hoping to see from the Doom? Are you expecting just your typical jungling support Doom with the mech, or are you expecting to see something a bit more semi-carryish? Well, hold that thought. YYF is getting body blocked really nicely by the Dark Troll right now, though he is going to be able to get past it, and looks like he's going to be fine.
I'm looking forward to maybe him skipping the mech. Like the Vino could build the mech instead, but I'm not very sure what the plans are. Maybe he goes for something else and his teammate can go for the mech. They can go for like the Scepter on the Vino and the Doom go for the mech. Or even the Bristleback goes for the mech, depending on the situation. But Bristleback is quite poor here, so maybe they'll leave the mech to the Doom, I would say. Arcane Boots and mech.
Yeah, what's he got so far? Nothing clear just yet. So we've got plenty of items to keep an eye out for. We're just gonna throw a couple of slaps at YYF bottom lane. There is a movement in from ZSMJ from the side. Looks like they've got their sights set on this tier 1. They've got the dragon form up as well, and we'll see if there's going to be any reaction whatsoever from IG. They're actually hammering down this tier 1 top lane as well. Kabu's going to get bitten. He spins out. He moves aggressively towards the CM, but now he's got no spin, and Hao's waiting for him on the other side of the tower. The tower's actually in deny range as well, so a little bit of a standoff happening right now. Hao, Shikuchi's in, Shikuchi's out, not gonna eat that tower attack. Keeps on harassing down Kabu, the Dire Fortification's gonna be used, and Hao with another Shikuchi. Looks like he should be able to get this. The Swarm might even finish it off for him. He's gonna Shikuchi just to make sure of it. He does get Grave Chilled on the way through. He doesn't have enough for another Shikuchi. So he's gonna go down to one more right click.
Dead. Wow, that was... I don't think that was worth it.
The Crystal Maiden did manage to snag the last hit on the tower, so... yeah, but probably not worth it. Meanwhile, tier 1 tower bottom lane gonna fall as well. We saw that. Well, we saw the Dragon Knight and the Enchantress moving in there a little bit earlier. So we have had very even trades so far this game. I would say it's a tower and a tower, a kill on the off lane, a kill on the off lane. The only thing that's a little bit unbalanced was the last trade was Hao for the off laner.
I didn't expect the Death Prophet to be so far ahead in last hits compared to the Venom. Wow, he's 17 creeps ahead. 15 creeps now. That's a huge margin for 7 minutes.
Yeah, he's actually doing very well. Denies are pretty similar, but yeah, looks like Ferrari... It can be a bit finicky to last hit when you've got a whole bunch of Plague Wards down. Since nobody really selects them, and then... You know, I don't really see people selecting them and trying to actively last it with them.
I think you do though if you're just sitting back in this situation here like a Vino. You don't have to do anything, so you just control and last hit with the wards.
So, still pretty passive game. We've got the Death Prophet ultimate now up as well, so that's probably another tower for Tongfu if they play their cards right. Level 8 on the DP, in fact. Some ping's going to go out on the bottom tower. That's actually coming out from Ferrari, so he's anticipating that Tongfu are going to be looking for this tier 2, and we'll see if they can put up any kind of fight. If they move too many heroes bottom lane, that's when Kabu is going to take the opportunity to push in mid, and Tongfu could just change tack. But nope, they're being very blunt about this. They're going to pop off the Exorcism. They've used the Dragon Form as well, maybe moving a little bit too far forward. They get the nuke out onto Faith. YYF joins the fight as well. Beautiful two-man Gale comes in from Ferrari. Hao is going to eat a Dragon Tail for his troubles right as he arrives. The Doom's going to go out onto Mu, but Doom not going to be able to hang around for too long. It's 2 for 1 so far. They actually managed to bring down the Weaver. Double kill for Sansheng. Familiar drops, going to catch Banana, but he's still very healthy. The fight continues. It ends up being a 3 for 1. But looks like Tongfu might be able to still stick around here. No, more TP's coming in. Looks like that's going to be it.
No, I think that's the end of the push already. But they dealt damage. They killed the Reno, which is their solo mid position, and they killed the Weaver. So 2 of the big cores went down. Did the Bristleback died as well? I think, yeah, he did.
Yeah, he died. So
3
that was...
heroes, so 3 cores went down. That was a very good play from Tongfu. They only lost the Dragon Knight. Yeah, they only lost the Dragon.
And they used a Doom for that as well. So
worth it.
Yeah, definitely worth it. I guess the one thing to keep in mind is that with the cooldowns on the big ults over on Tongfu, there should be pretty much 1 Doom for every single fight. You know, assuming something weird doesn't happen and he drops a Doom for a gank. So that is something, you know, that to keep in mind that's going their way at least a little bit. But yeah, things are still looking fine for IG, but they'd like to slow the pace of this game down a little bit. And Hao is actually being very active. He's got a Bracer, he's got a Ring of Aquila. Looks like he's just aiming for the mid game right now.
Yeah, probably realizing that he died. Once he died, he won't have the ability to just get any big items all in all, and the push from Tongfu is coming very, very soon.
How? Actually hanging around here, he cancels his Shikuchi to jump out. He's got Shikuchi on cooldown for a couple of seconds. He just eats the silence. He time-lapses out. Doom going to be used over on Mu, but I think he's going to be okay. Zhou's going to force the Mummy Exorcism. How actually continues to chase past, but looks like he is going to be forced back to this MJ. Spots him out. Kabu also on the hunt.
That actually turned out to be a huge victory because the Death Prophet popped his ultimate to defend his teammate.
Yeah, and well, Tongfu are still going to try and make something of this. They smoke towards mid. The tier 1's there. Ferrari's kind of setting up shop. He's got plenty of Plague Wards down, keeping the lane pressured out. Faith is going to get spotted. The mysterious smoked ghosts are going to come through as well. But anyway, so Tongfu arrive mid. They've got the Dragon Knight ultimate, but no Exorcism. But I guess on the other side of the coin, there is no Doom up for IG.
They still have the Vino to slow down this push though, and without the Exorcism, it could take them a while to take this tower. Maybe not so much for a while. They are actually doing a lot of damage to the tower. Oh boy, it's down.
Yeah, I think they got a full set of familiar damage down on that. So tower's gone. Ferrari very nicely played with the Plague Wards. Gets the deny. So I think still alright for IG. Hao tries to get some damage down on the tier 2 top, but he's not the fastest split pusher at this point.
Quite surprised to see the Death Prophet going for face boots. Who's going to get the arcane boots right now? Visage doesn't have the arcane boots. And Enchantress, generally, you don't want to get arcane boots on your Enchantress unless you're just forced to. You don't have a choice. Because like Enchantress with arcane boots is just no. He's actually completed his threads. So this pushing lineup doesn't have arcane boots unless Kabu builds one.
Oh man. That's...
What is going on?
That seems like a bit of an oversight from Tongfu, honestly. Like...
Yeah, that is really bad without arcane boots for a pushing lineup like this.
Especially when you've got heroes like the Dragon Knight and the Juggernaut who aren't really building any mana regen for themselves. They're 100% reliant on support arcanes to keep on spamming their spells. The silence is going to go out onto Hao top. It's going to last a little while, not going to die, manages the time-lapse back, very close however, and he's fighting right on top of a sentry. The nuke goes out, one more right-click, not able to get out of range, just on the very edge. Down he'll go.
Didn't expect to have a sentry there in the lane. That was just not really his fault, but he was trying to be aggressive. He wanted to use the time-lapse. YYF.
No, I think he's gonna be okay, and Sunshine maybe walked out. Well, not walked out too far. He's gonna be just fine. There is a hoof stomp over on Banana, but won't be able to get it down. And meanwhile, mid Ferrari, Exorcism's going out. Kabu drops the spin as well. Way too much damage. Isn't going to be able to TP.
Are they going to transition in? Yeah, they can actually transition into a push to a tier 2 right away. The
The
Dragon Knight
pest is dead, Winter. The pest is dead. Yeah,
Yeah, the
no
pest is
Venomancer.
dead. No Venomancer, indeed. What is your towers going to
Dire's
be?
middle tower is
Your
under
towers
attack.
is just going to go down without the pest.
Dire's structures
They-
are fortified.
They're just doing so much towers, so much tower damage, so quickly.
Oh, YYF comes in, but he gets Dragon Tailed and he's facing the entire team. Manages to turn his back, but not before some significant damage is
Wow.
dealt. He's gonna back off. He almost ticks down to the
Dire's
urn,
middle tower is
and the
under
DK
attack.
ultimate Poison Sting. TP's coming in from the Doom, taking him a very long time. Familiar Drop is ready to go.
Doom is
No,
gonna go
but they
down.
do have the Dragon Tail. They silence him up as well. TP just a little bit too aggressive. They didn't have the heroes to back it up. Tongfu swarm into the space behind the
Dire's
tower.
middle tower has
And
fallen.
they pick it up. They're gonna get out.
Radiant's top
Hardly any
tower is
damage
under
dealt to their
attack.
tier 2 top lane either. The Weaver split push is not working out as IG would
At
have
all.
hoped. Yeah.
And Joe is going to complete his mech. They did.
How-
They pushed down 3 towers without having a mech and without having an arcane boots.
How is he going to support this mech, Winter? Like, he pops his ultimate, he casts each of his other spells once, and then he uses
needs
the mech.
to
and that's
be
it.
very conservative on his mana. That's all.
Yeah, I guess he does have a bottle. He might work into something like a
Okay,
Yule's
regen.
now. Okay, yeah,
Regen.
he's got a regenerate, so that's gonna help him for the next little bit. They've got the rank 2 ultimate now up as well. Dragon Knight's level 10 is going to be moving in towards that Shadowblade build as you were expecting. So if the Weaver tries to do any more split pushing, it could just be more deaths for How. And
They're just going to try and smoke and go around. They realize that if they continue to wait and the ultimate comes up from Tongfu, it could really be again another push that they can't stop at all.
the spot
Fate is
Sansheng
gonna
on the
come
backside.
up.
They're actually going to end up biting the creep just to stop the whirlwind, but that means Sansheng is going to be able to walk away. They haven't used the Doom just yet. It gets dropped on Kabu. Ferrari uses his ultimate. YYF going to keep on fighting. Looks like Kabu is going to be pummeled down, but Tongfu fighting right underneath their tier 1 tower, not moving out
Oh.
too far.
He didn't have his mech with him. It was in the base. Could have saved Kabu there.
Showed not... Oh, it looks like the courier was busy. It's actually heading back to base
Dire's
right
bottom
now.
tower
So
is under attack.
Top lane, the Weaver could be in trouble if he continues to push one more wave of creeps. The Shadowblade Dragon Knight lurking at the corner.
looks like he's gonna be okay. How playing this pretty conservatively, but IG not even sure if that was necessarily a super valuable move. They come in, they drop the Doom. Again, we have the Exorcism popped in response to the Doom from Tongfu, but 50 seconds on cooldown. Doom's gonna be down for another 50 seconds as well, so looks like a pretty even trade. Just, I guess, a little bit of time bought for How to get some farm.
Yeah, Kabu's gonna teleport down to defend this tower here. Means that the push is yet again delayed, and this is good news for IG to try and get more farm on their multiple cores. This is just a good news for them after seeing 2 heroes teleport bottom. Means the push is delayed for another at least 2 minutes.
Yeah, and Golden Experience is still very even right now. Experience actually a little bit in favor of the Radiant, Gold a little bit in favor of the Dire. Joe's gonna end up finding an Invis. So he's gonna make his way up towards top lane, and if they coordinate this Invis with the Shadowblade, Dragon Knight's just over here, then they should be able to get this kill on the Weaver.
Yeah, they should be able to.
Yeah, they've spotted him. How is
Did
he
they
suspicious?
see him? Yeah, no,
There
he
we
was
go.
not
He's
suspicious.
dead. Yeah, they have managed to
He
find
picked up-
Sansheng over in the Radiant jungle, so 4-man gank from IG is going to bear fruit. They do get the kill, but unfortunately How dies in the meantime, and Tongfu realizing, why do we need creeps to kill a tower? We
Oh,
don't. Let's just
yeah,
go for the tier
hitting
1.
the powers like this, yeah. Kabu's gonna get chased down, but he has a spin. to
Spin,
get out
but
of
no
there.
TP. Drum charge is going to be used, just going to make sure of it. IG realizing that they can't defend top. They're just going to go for this tier 1 mid. Looks like they will end up getting the trade out of it. They give the last hit to YYF. He's actually managed to pick up a Vanguard, and will be able to snag his treads pretty soon, but for the time being, just tanking up as much as he possibly can.
And IG looks to be heading towards bottom lane to try and get a tower as well. And Death Prophet still has ultimate. Only DK uses his ultimate for that, so he won't have the ultimate for the fight coming here. They actually spot. Do they spot them? Yeah, there's a ward there. They know he's coming in.
Moo comes in. They are going to drop the Doom on him. He gets bitten up as well. What can they do? It's Frost Armor up on the Doom. Omni Slash comes through, but hasn't killed anyone. The mech's going to pop off from IG. Ferrari carrying that one. Everybody's still healthy. Kabu already dropped the spin, already dropped the Omni. He's got nothing left to use in this fight. Joe turns up a little bit late. I think he was just getting his Force Staff delivered, and just going to end up being one more kill for IG. But they've kept the tower situation pretty even. Anyway.
I think there was a chance they could have saved the Dragon Knight there. The Omni Knight, sorry, not the Omni Knight. The Omni Slash came before he dropped the healing ward. He could have just hit the healing ward in the trees, and the Death Prophet would have made it on time to cast the mech with a time bot from the healing ward, and the fight could have just turned around like that.
Yeah, there's been lots of little things worth talking about in this series so
Radiant's
far.
bottom tower
It's
is
okay.
under
IG are going to keep pushing bot. TP's coming in. Pincer movement from the side. Tongfu with the smoke yank looping in. Is there going to be a TP out? Yes, that's Venomancer heading straight back to base. YYF is going to be slowed down. He does have a TP scroll. First familiar drop, second familiar drop. Slow comes in, but he's got his back turned. Can they actually get him here? Zhou is hasting around. Throws out the nuke. They get another Grave Chill, but YYF just way too tanky. Gets back to the safety of his tier 2.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
You just want to kill the towers. You're not gonna get that hero. He's just way too tanky, like you said. But the creep wave is actually very, very far, and there's still Vino Ward slowing there. So it's gonna take a while before the creep wave reaches the tower. They're just gonna be contented right now, trying to defend the tower. The Weaver dealt so much damage to the tier 2 at top.
How? Actually gonna eat some damage here. He time-lapses out. The tower not actually now in deny range, so how, if he wants this, he has to stick around. He's going to throw out the swarm. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be going for this Kabu. Eat some damage. Glyph's going to be used, but looks like how more intent on the kill. Drives him back, waits out the Glyph, and we'll be able to grab it. So after, at long last, How is going to be able to get this. And Dragon Form ends up being popped by Moo, so not sure what he was looking for there.
Just trying to engage with the Shadow Blade, but the tower went down too quickly, and Weaver is actually going to build into a Lincoln Sphere.
And he's actually doing a little bit better than I was expecting, given the start that he had. He's got 4 deaths, but the last 10 minutes he's pretty much just been sitting top lane, pushing out the wave, ducking back into the jungle, farming up, and he's going to get there. And IG going to take another tier 1 tower on bottom lane as well. So the all-in push from Tongfu has actually been held off really well by this IG side. Yeah,
it came down to the point where the last few minutes there were 2 consequences of it, like the Doom being spent and they forced out the DP ulti, thus slowing down the tempo of the push, and the other time was 2 heroes teleport bottom to defend the tower, so they couldn't push the other lanes as well. So those little things slowed down the push tempo of Tongfu. And just look at Tongfu, they bring 4 heroes over into the dire jungle, or thereabouts, but somebody gets forced down bottom lane because YYF, as a bristleback, was split pushing, and that's just more time bought by IG. Tongfu still want to try and get something out of this move. Well, Banana actually comes in to grab a creep. He's going to eat an Omni Slash. Is it going to be transferred over to Faith? No, the mech's going to keep him alive for now. He's been silenced up spin, doing good damage to the Crystal Maiden, but Tongfu, they've dropped everything that they had from the Juggernaut. They're going to doom him now. A little bit surprisingly, Ferrari runs in, drops the Poison Nova, but looks like IG are going to end up retreating. Almost every cooldown is used, but are we going to see any kills? How's lurking on the back lines? But no, that's no kills.
No kills. Every ult used,
Healing Ward.
no kills.
Healing Ward. It's gonna heal everyone. Are they gonna try and breach high ground because Doom is used?
They have 3 seconds until the DK ultimate is back up. Exorcism's worn down.
No.
No.
Roshan?
Yeah, looks like that's the plan. They're still willing to force a fight, but just not up onto the enemy hill. They've got a medallion picked up as well over on the Visage, so this shouldn't take them too long.
Yeah. Unless IG sniffs something that is going on right away, place a Vino Ward into the rush pit.
Yeah, nobody TP bottom lane to grab some farm that was on its way, so it looks like they are a little bit suspicious. Looks like Tongfu should be able to finish this off in time. Dragon Knight gonna end up grabbing the Aegis. 4-man Gale goes out. IG swarm in. Spin goes out from Kabu Sansheng. The first one to fall. He is gonna be focused down Zhou. No mana left. Force staffs himself towards the room, but looks like he's still gonna be brought down as well. Kabu also on the chopping block. ZSMJ gonna try and TP out. Will be able to. But Tongfu lose 3. They don't lose the Aegis. But still a bit of a questionable trade. Very
damaging trade, I feel, for them. The Aegis is just not worth it after that. But it depends on the next fight. If they are able to use the Aegis to to win the next fight, then maybe it will be still well worthy after that happened. But losing 3 heroes there was just a very, very huge blow towards their chances in this game.
Yeah, and with that, Hao is actually going to take the top spot in terms of net worth. He's got his Lincoln Sphere and another 2k gold, so if he wants to move into Deso or Radiance at this point, then he's already made some really good progress.
Yeah, I think Deso would just be the standard build. It's just the benefit of how effective the cost of the item and towards how much damage the Weaver gets from that item. It's just too good.
Yeah, and he's already got minus armors, so helps it a lot.
Up.
Yeah, it's especially good against the Dragon Knight. Well, it's with the way that EHP works, it's good against everybody. So
yeah, it's just general. No matter who you're facing, the Desolator is just an item that gives you so much on the Weaver.
Yeah, so IG, it's been a pretty big momentum swing in their favor. YYF after that fight has a BKB. What have we got over on Banana? Looks like he's just going to keep on working on this support Doom. Probably moving in towards Ashivas now. It's just carrying the ice armor at all times as well. And Tongfu kind of struggling a little bit. I guess the one thing that's worth mentioning about this ice armor too is that Tongfu have a lot of physical damage. The ghosts, Omni Slash, so all of that is being reduced by the ice armor.
Yeah, ice armor is very good in this against this lineup of Tongfu. He might get caught up. Okay, he's dead. I don't think he survives.
No, he's going to try and make his way into the trees. He's going to attempt the TP out, but Dragon Tail is going to cancel that very quickly, and Banana is going to be brought down.
Well, that was just... I'm not sure what he was trying to do there. He was just very dangerous because no one was on the map.
Yeah, if you look at the dire vision right now, they don't have a whole lot of wards out. We don't have a gem picked up. We do actually have a gem picked up by YYF and a gem picked up by Sancheng. So my bad. We do actually have gems on both sides, and it looks like after that pick off, Tongfu are going to be able to make their way through. They pick up this tier 2 without expending anything. Hao is racing towards mid lane as quickly as he can to try and drag them back. He stops off for the Ancients for a second. Not sure what that's about. The glyph's going to be used.
This push is very, very deadly. Healing Ward, Nature's Attendance, everything. Death Prophet ultimate, Dragon Knight ultimate, everything is up.
Yeah, engaging into this is very difficult. Ferrari walks in. He wanted to drop the Poison Over. Can they focus him down before he uses anything?
No.
They will be able to. He's got the buyback. He's TPing, and the Doom gets used over on Mukabu. Still has the Omni Slash. He can turn and fight. Banana is going to eat the brunt of that one. Soul Assumption going as well as the SMJ dropping low. Throws some more impetuses. One drops. The Aegis is going to be used. Nice Freezing Field from Faith. Gets almost a full duration down. It's 4 dead so far. YYF turns around. Mu pops back up from the Aegis, but looks like he's going to take a fall as well. Hao returns to the fight, and IG, it cost them a buyback, but very successful defense.
Very, very successful defense in it. The buyback on the Venomancer. It's okay. They can just take it any day. Killing 4 heroes and the Aegis. Dragon Knight managed to buy a BKB before he died, but that was just going to ruin a lot of their pushing timing already. Joe is actually going to build into a Necrobolt, so this is actually means that they're not going to try and fight late game. I was like looking maybe to an item like a Bloodstone to be picked up from Death Prophet, so it gives her some sort of late game later on into the game. You have a lot of Bloodstone charges and you could transition into a damage hero with your ultimate.
At the moment, I think the one thing that's really lacking for the Death Prophet as well is that she just doesn't really have a whole lot of survivability. I mean, yes, you can force staff yourself towards the back of the fight. Spin's gonna come in from Kabu. Looks like they do actually want to try and defend this one. Bite gonna go down to Sancheng. Walked a little bit too far forward. The birds on the back lines just have to be dropped before the Quill Spray kills them off. Kabu trying to run. He's got the goop all over. YYF turns his back as the Dragon Tail comes in. He's gonna be fine. Exorcism goes. Hao forced to time lapse out. YYF uses the BKB, but he's actually going to use it to turn tail and run. They just want to wait out the Exorcism and the Dragon Form if at all possible. How far out of Tongfu going to go? It looks like that's about to be it. And another fight, Joe just ends up on 0 mana at the end of it. Everything that he has is very expensive.
Yeah, it comes down to the fact that just no mana items for... Like they have, she has stat items, like the Force Staff gives intelligence and Necrobolt gives intelligence, but the primary concern is mana regen. You don't have any sustainability to spam your spells, and you don't go for an item like a Bloodstone, so generally, if you're a carry and you don't go for a Bloodstone, it's gonna be a lot of problems with your mana, since you you can't really build a Hex as a first item on that buffer.
No, and how? Well, he's got his Deso up now, and Tongfu. I guess we'll have to see if this BKB on the Dragon Knight is going to be enough for them to take a fight. They do definitely need somebody sitting on the front lines, because the big problem for them bottom lane is they were there, they had the exorcism going, they were right-clicking on the tower, but as soon as IG charged into them with their Bristleback, the Doom, the Venomancer, and everything that they had, there was nothing that Tongfu could really do to stand and fight. So maybe the BKB is going to help out a little bit with that, but it feels like time is running out for Tongfu, and they're now trailing by 7.5k gold, 7.5k experience.
Yeah.
So momentum being gained.
One last fight, that's all they have. If they can't win this fight, it means the game can't be reached anymore for Tongfu.
If they can win this fight, they might be able to get 2 lanes of Rax though. So this could be the decisive
It's difficult
fight.
though. The Veno has the perfect item to stop the push, the Acceptor.
Yeah, I guess even if people survive this fight, they're likely just going to be... They're likely going to have to just go back to base. Unless the Juggernaut survives and maybe gets a healing ward down. But Smoke's not going to end up finding anyone. IG do get... I think they might have been spotted out.
He needs to hide. Yeah, I think they might have spotted it. I'm not very sure, but he needs to hide the healing ward. Like you just say that how crucial the healing ward is towards his team, but every time Hao is just coming in from behind, he's swooping in with Shukuchi, and the first thing he kills is the healing ward.
Yeah, and without that healing ward, Tongfu just don't have the sustain for these fights. There's an Aghanim Scepter up on the Enchantress, so a little bit more damage coming from that. And looks like Tongfu have got their sights set on this tier 2 top. So they want the opportunity that if they win a big fight, you know, maybe 2 fights in a row, that they can just end this game with Mega Creeps. Hopefully for them.
But it's gonna be really tough. All the IG heroes are not an easy target to kill apart from the Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, YYF is getting very tanky, 3.2k gold, so he could buy a Reaver if he wanted it. Banana's got his Shivas up. He keeps on doling out that Frost Armor, so... everybody getting that little bit more survivable from that. And how's he doing? 3k gold. So if he wants to move into another damage item, something with a little bit more survivability, he's going to be able to do that very soon. And Roshan will be respawning in about 40 seconds time, so pretty early respawn. And I guess we'll have to see which team can play the lane control game better to get into the pit.
It's just 40 seconds. Actually, this is 3 minutes. This is actually almost...
Now look at how fast it's ticking. That's like, we've got like 20 seconds from now.
Wow.
That's the 1 minute clock.
Quick.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the 1 minute.
1 dot, 1 minute, 2 dots, 2 minutes, 3 dots, 3 minutes. I don't know why it's so convoluted. Like, I wish they just had the digital clock there all the time.
It's very complicated. Sometimes you get, I don't know. I just mess up with it sometimes.
Yeah, when you need a guide to explain how the clock works, it might be a little bit convoluted. But anyway.
Yeah, Kongor has respawned. So.
Okay, so how Pressure's at top, forces a response. IG move into position. They've got some Ancients to clear out, grab a little bit of extra farm in the meantime. Banana's still over in the jungle as well. Not even giving up on this Ice Armor. He's just going to be holding on to this the whole game, and it's going to stay extremely relevant the entire game because it is armor and we are heading towards the late game. So, we'll see. Can Tongfu actually break outside of their base and do something about Roshan? IG can just start setting up a bunch of Plague Wards. Hao can just keep on split pushing top lane, and unless they can somehow kill the Weaver, I don't know if Tongfu can actually move out and contest this. We'll have to see.
They can kill the Weaver if they land everything on him. One Dragon Tail and everyone focus fire him, but IG has just too many targets they need to deal with, and you can't really just focus the Weaver down unless the Weaver just tries to charge in as the first target. But most of the time he's just waiting for YYF to just deal damage and waiting for Tongfu to focus on the Bristleback, and then he comes in from the side, swoops in, kills your healing ward and kills your heroes behind.
And Tongfu, they're going to try and Shadowblade the Dragon Knight around to try and spot out the Weaver, but he's already TP'd out. There's some pings going from Sanshang. He suspects that the Weaver retreated into the trees, but as we can see, Hao is actually just TP'd back to his base, smokes up with his team. They're going to head straight into the pit, feeling very confident that there's no way that Tongfu can get out here in time. And it looks like they're right. Roshan's dropping very quickly to all of the minus armor, and Aegis about to be secured.
Roshan has
That
fallen
was so
to the
quick. So much minus armor. And with... Wow, he actually built... I didn't expect him to build a BKB at all. just wants to survive the fights. I'm talking about the viewer.
Yeah.
After the 8 kills, builds a BKB. I was actually quite expecting something more along the lines of damage, more damage items.
Butterfly, crit, something like that.
Yeah, either a Monkey King or whatever. As long as it gives damage, like he's not really dying in the fights anyway.
Yeah, I guess this means that he can change his playstyle a little bit. Like you said, for the most part, he's been Shikuchiing into the back of the fight, finding the healing ward, finding the supports. That's really been the game plan, but I guess with the BKB, he can't really stand up to the physical damage, but it does mean that he can be more in the thick of things. So we'll see if it's going to let him get more damage out that way.
It means he doesn't die.
Basically.
He's not afraid of the silence and the Dragon Tail anymore. Soul Assumption can break his Lincoln, so he can get stunned by the Dragon Knight. He doesn't have to worry about all those stuff anymore.
Yeah, okay, so if you're Tongfu, things are looking kind of grim. 10k gold, 10k experience. You haven't really seen the opposing side of the map for a little while, haven't even gotten close to a tower for a very long time. What do? Do you have to try and look for a smoke pickoff? I don't think that there's any chance that you can just charge down a lane, so what opportunities are left to them? Or do they just have to wait and take a fight on their high ground?
If they wait and take a fight on their high ground, it's most likely the game is already in a huge disadvantage when that point comes, because IG just has too many cores at the moment. So the best way probably is just you have 1 or 2 heroes show your face, maybe just 1 or 2, maybe 2. 2 is not so obvious. In some of the lanes, pushing the lanes out, and the other 3 just smokes up and try to find a pickoff. But if IG is just very safe and always farming near to each other, the pickoff is not going to happen.
Yeah, and Tongfu, well, they're trying to grab a little bit more farm. Mu is moving in towards an AC. Do we have any other big pickups coming up? 2.4k gold on the Death Prophet. Necro 3 also completed. So they've got plenty of pushing power if they can win a fight. The question is that big if. And IG, they've got the Aegis. They've also got a double damage over on How. Yeah, that was the bottle was actually purchased by Faith. So
no, he passed him his. Yeah, this is like how speed gaming does. The support buys a bottle for the carry late game to take all those double damage, haste runes. Even illusion runes will be very good late game if you're a Luna.
And IG moving in. This double damage could be very crucial. And Tongfu looks like they're actually going to try and make a stand here at the tier 2, or at least delay IG for a little bit longer. They don't necessarily want to fight into the Aegis, but they've kind of run out of options at this point.
Yeah, they don't really have much choice. If they don't defend their towers and...
okay, they're going to go in. Banana gets force staffed out after being silenced. Poisoned over, going to be dropped by Ferrari. Omnislash comes in. The Doom's being used over on the Dragon Knight. Zhou, however, is going to be dropped by the BKB double damage Weaver. How dives into the base, brings down one more mega kill streak for him. Dragon Knight hits the deck. Buyback from the Death Prophet, but she's got nothing left. YYF diving the base past the tier 4s, picks up another kill, and with that, IG are going to get the GG out of Tongfu.
That is just way too much for them to deal already. Having the ones with the much more aggressive lineup and the much more push orientated lineup, if you're defending your base, that's not a good thing already.
Yeah, and it seemed like all of those trades that IG took during the mid game that seemed very even, what they were really doing was just buying a lot of time for How, because he was struggling for the first 10-15 minutes of the game. Then they gave him 10 minutes of dedicated farm, and he made his return. He had the impact that he needed to have. So I think very nicely played by IG. And also, as we talked about right at the start of the game, a nice adjustment to bump the Venomancer up and use him to kind of draw the game out.
That was a very smart move in general from IG. That was just the reason why they were able to hold the game at the start, because the Venomancer was the solo mid. He has a lot more farm than usual, and his wards was a lot higher level when the first few pushes came, and it bought a lot of time for Weaver to farm. So that was just the story of the game after that.
Yeah, so that's going to wrap it up for Game 1. There is not going to be a Hearthstone break in between Game 1 and Game 2, so we are going to be heading in there within hopefully the next 5 minutes or so. I'll keep you guys posted if anything changes, if we have any technical issues. I'm Baseskip, he's Winter, we're here on Beyond the Summit, and we hope that you'll join us for the next game.